have a very big book haul. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I typically make bookish content, movie content, travel, miscellaneous collection content, and just whatever the hell I want. And today we are doing a book haul. As you can tell from the thumbnail, I have a lot, and that still wasn't all the books that I have. As the title suggests, I got a job. So if you're new here, I was laid off in the beginning of when COVID all started. But then I got another job in mid-September. I got 2 jobs in mid-September actually, but one of them was seasonal, so I don't have to do it anymore. But because I got a new job, I was like, oh my god, I could finally treat myself to stuff. In my defense, all these books were not from one paycheck. Like, we're in the middle of November, so some of these took a while. Some of these I probably should not have spent money on, but here we are. Because I could be buying other things, but here I am buying books. Mom, Dad, I hope you're proud. I don't know. So I have 30 books to talk about. And because this is also a miscellaneous collection content channel sort of thing, I also want to talk about the 4 new vinyls I've gotten and 2 new Funko Pops I've gotten, just as an extra bonus. I'm just going to talk about these in the order they're on my bookshelf, or were on my bookshelf, because it's going to make my life easier. So the first book I want to talk about is Life and Death by Stephenie Meyer, which is just Twilight but gender bent. It's just the first book. And I was never ever planning on reading this. But then she announced Midnight Sun, and I was like, wow, I can't, because I really want to read Midnight Sun, because I remember the controversy when someone leaked it, and she's like, you know what, I'm never gonna publish it, so I'm just gonna put it on my website. And it's like, well, I can't just like read everything in the Twilight universe but the one book. So I went ahead and got it, and it was like super cheap. It's less than $8 right now, and I can kind of tell this is very cheaply made compared to like the other books, even in paperback form. Guy is human, his name is Beau, I think, and then the girl is the vampire. I don't know her name. I have a friend who read this book, and she said some of those names are choices. So it's part of my like Twilight thing going on. I'm rereading the Twilight series. I have the first 3 books up right now. I'll link that playlist up above and you can check that out. I want to read this. I want to read Midnight Sun, and then I'm going to watch those movies next year. Stay tuned. So we're going to move on to the next book. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer, which is the first Twilight book in Edward's point of view. Yeah, like I said, I reread the first 3 Twilight books already, so am I essentially reading Twilight 3 times this year, you know, with Twilight, the gender bent version, and then Edward's point of view? I am. Listen, present day me is in shambles, but new Twilight book came out. Rick Riordan announced that Disney Plus is going to do a Percy Jackson TV show. Avatar: The Last Airbender dropped on Netflix. Evanescence was coming out with new music. Middle school me is thriving. Oh, and a new Animal Crossing game. Present day me, shambles. Middle school me, absolutely thriving. This one was a birthday gift. So my birthday was back in August, so I guess that's how far back we're going. But the representation of the Native American tribe, the Quileute tribe, is not good. So I will be linking their website down below where you can donate to them because they are trying to move to higher ground. They need help. Go donate. Now that I have a job, I was able to donate, so I hope you guys can too. And if you can't, just spread the word, help spread the word. So next I have is The Martian by Andy Weir. This has been on my Goodreads TBR the longest out of any books. Like if you go to my Goodreads want to read shelf, it is literally number 1. And it's about a dude who gets stuck on Mars, and I heard it's a great book. Next book is The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I don't actually even remember what this is about, other than that it's literally number 2 on that TBR. I think someone told me about this in passing my freshman year of college, that's why I added it. So I'm excited to get to it. And I am thirsty. I also hauled because I wanted to. I bought a lot of Avatar stuff lately. So the next book is The Boy Who Dared by Susan Campbell Bartoletti. From what I'm reading in the back, it's just about a German boy growing up in Nazi Germany, and then he has full-fledged patriotism, and it's waning. I did not realize this was middle grade, but looking at how it's published, it looks like I can get through this very fast. I cannot talk in this vlog. Maybe it's because I'm drinking too much coffee. The next book I'm going to show I got for free because I have discovered there are 2 free little libraries in my area, and I pass both of them when I walk to work, so I always check them every day. And this one I got, Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. I don't really know what this one's about other than some classes at my high school had to read this for summer reading. Yes, my high school was that school that made you do summer reading. Everyone read the same book freshman and sophomore year, but like junior year, that's when things started changing. I took the AP English class, so I did not have to read this book. The honors and regulars did. And I don't remember what the general consensus is, but high school kicked my ass when it came to required reading. Like, I love to read. I was always a ferocious reader, but high school, I hated everything. So I'm really hoping I don't dislike this, because that would be a shame. The next book I picked up is also from the Free Little Library, and it is Fever 1793 by Laurie Halse Anderson. I don't know what this is about other than that she's the author of Speak. I really liked Speak when I first read it. I was like 14, so I don't know what I would think of it now. And I don't even think, like, I don't even know if this is YA or middle grade. I'm going to say YA just to be safe. But I just, flipping through it, I could see it's an easy read, so I might as well get it out of the way. The next book I did buy with my own money is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I was supposed to read this in October. I didn't because I got caught up with it. I bought this because I watched a Netflix TV show that was so fucking good. Gave me a heart attack multiple times. Almost gave me a heart attack multiple times. Cried multiple times. So I was like, let's read the book that they pulled inspiration from. I'm well aware the TV show is nothing like the book, which I think would help me, maybe it might help me appreciate the book more, because, like, at least my problem is when I watch movies first and then read the book, I'm, like, expecting to see what I see in the movie, if that makes sense, or / TV show, but, like, going into this book, knowing it's nothing like what I saw on TV, I can easily separate it, and then therefore enjoy both forms of medium for what they are, if that makes sense. The next book I bought was, ooh, I held that upside down. The next book I bought was Death Note Black Edition Volume 3. The Black Editions are putting 2 volumes of the manga into one, so Volume 3 is therefore 5 and 6. I've seen the anime twice. I've seen the horrendous Netflix adaptation, and I just really want to see the original source material. I don't know when I'm going to read it, because I'm still trying to finish another manga series, which has a sequel series I need to read, and then I can get to this. So the next 4 books I want to talk about were from the Free Little Library. I didn't grab them all at once. This is from multiple days. The first one is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I've grown up with the story itself, like all the different TV and movie adaptations. Never actually read the book, so I feel like I should do that. Then I picked up Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. Olivia over at Olivia's Catastrophe is reading this, and she's what, like, okay, I remember seeing this book everywhere when I was in middle school. You know those books that always, like, pop up at Target or, like, the school book fair, but no one has actually read? That's how this book was. Always at Target, always at the book fairs. My 5th, 6th grade teacher, because it was the same teacher, so 5th, 6th grade teacher had this in her personal library, but no one I knew growing up has read this book. And then Olivia over at Olivia's Catastrophe is reading the whole series right now. Disney Plus came out with the movie, and it's grabbing my attention, and I want to check it out, especially because I found out one of the books has OCD rep, and I have OCD, so I'm really intrigued how... it's from the early 2000s, so it's probably, like, not well done, but, like, I still want to see it anyway, because I think the only time... I've only seen OCD rep twice, and that was in The Casual Vacancy and in History Is All You Left Me, and quite frankly, I thought it was well done in both those books. So I'm kind of intrigued for the early 2000s way of doing things. Then I also picked up Number of the Stars by Lois Lowry. I have read this book before. I read this in 6th grade, and next year for 2021, I kind of want to, like, reread some of the stuff I had to read for school. I know I talked about this before, but just in case you're new here, my history with this book is that I had to read this in 6th grade. I learned about the Holocaust in 7th grade, and even then, like, 7th grade teacher, it was the literature teacher who had to teach us about the Holocaust, and she was new. It was her first year there, and she was shocked that none of us knew what it was, because we weren't supposed to learn about it until 8th grade. So she had to do a crash course because she wanted us to read The Diary of Anne Frank. Therefore, like I said, I read this in 6th grade. I read this book not knowing what the Holocaust was. Like, I knew what World War II was. Like, I was well aware about America's fight with Japan. Holocaust was lost on me. So I went into this book thinking this was pure fiction. All of it was made up. So it's time for a reread, and that will happen in 2021. And then the last book I picked up from the Free Little Library was called Haunted America: Ghost Stories and True Tales of Terror. It's because I picked this up because I saw this in Wisconsin Dells at, like, it was Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum or something like that. And I wanted to read it. I just didn't want to spend the money on a book I knew I would, like, read and then unhaul right away. But then it was at the Free Little Library, so I could read it and give it back right away. I don't know, America's a pretty haunted place. There's a lot of fucked up stuff going on. There's a lot of, like, haunted areas in Chicago. The Valentine's Day Massacre, that's said to be haunted. The local cemetery by my house, there's, like, a whole legend around that freaks me out, and I want to try one day, but, like, don't want to try because I'm not about that spooky shit at the same time. I'm thinking of reading this right away or like waiting until Halloween. I don't know, but like I kind of like want it out of my personal libraries. I might as well just say fuck it and like read it now. Okay, so the next 14 books are all part of the same series. So I'm just going to hold up the box that I spent more money on that I probably shouldn't have. But I caved in and bought the Tokyo Ghoul manga set. So I know they say, hey, like don't read your manga online because, you know, support the artists, which I totally understand. But I couldn't like buy all the books and like I really wanted to read them and it was online for free, so that's what I was doing. But I really like the series, so I caved in and bought the whole box set. There's 14 of them. And I only have one volume left and I was waiting to read it until I got this box set. Ooh! There's a poster I didn't know about. But yeah, volume 14 is the last one I have left, and then I could read the sequel series. But it's a good series. If you don't know what Tokyo Ghoul is about, it's about this dude. All he wanted to do was go on a date. And no, a ghoul attacked him, and then he had to get some surgery. I'm struggling here. He had to get his organ replaced, and they used hers. So now he is half ghoul and half human. And he has to meander his way through Tokyo like that, and it's his adventures from there. I forgot to put the poster back. His name is Ken Kaneki, and I was him for Halloween. I have showed the costume multiple times on this channel, so I won't do it again. But that costume was one hell of a costume to make. And then I have 3 more books to haul, and I'm very excited about these. They're all Avatar comics, because one thing about OCD is that we too develop special interest. In the case of OCD, we tend to develop special interest because like OCD as a whole is about feeling like you have a lack of control on things, whatever that is, because obsessions obviously differ for different people. So we develop special interests because special interests give us a sense of control, but because Avatar: The Last Airbender has dropped on Netflix, it has redeveloped as a special interest. I remember when I first watched the series, I was vastly obsessed with the show, and now it's back. So I'm trying to buy all the comics. The first one I'm going to hold up, though, is Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Lost Adventures, and Team Avatar Tales. I think these are technically 2 separate comics, but then, like, this edition just came out, the library edition, and has combined the 2. These comics take place, like, within the show, so it's the stuff we didn't see, and we get to meet Kuzan. I'm excited to meet Kuzan. I need to put this down somewhere that doesn't kill me because there's books everywhere. So then the next one is... Ooh. I almost dropped this. The next one is The Search, which is actually comic number 2. So the rest of the comics do take place after the show. This is comic number 2, and Azula comes back. Azula is my favorite character of the whole show. Her, Zuko, and Iroh, I love them all the same for different reasons. So yeah, she's one of my top 3 favorite characters. So I was very excited that she came back. And this comic tells you what happens to Zuko's mom. I have read this comic before. I've read the first 3 before online, and I remember like not being a big fan. I know, like, apparently, I didn't know they were as controversial as they are, but apparently these comics are pretty controversial within the fandom, because like some don't mind it, some are really pissed at their canon, and I remember reading them. This was my favorite of the 3 that I read, because this tells you what happens to Zuko's mom, because I was so pissed that Zuko was like, where is my mother, in the show, and then they cut the scene. When it comes to the 3 comics, I remember liking aspects, but it was so obvious it was different writers, and every single character did something that was way out of character, but whatever. Moving on to the next comic. I'm excited to revisit this one, although, I mean, I have some like differing opinions about how Azula's mental health is handled now in the comics. Like when I first read them, when I didn't know a lot about mental health, I was like, this is great, but now that I have learned more about mental health through my own struggles and just in general, I'm very iffy how it's handled, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So then the last book I'm gonna haul is kind of damaged at the bottom, but it's Smoke and Shadow, which is comic number 4, so it would be the first comic that I have not read. And I know this one's more like May-centric, and I'm not a huge May fan. This is May for people who don't know. This was spoiled for me by accident, so I already like know who the villain is. I know who the girl is underneath the mask. Am I a fan of that? Conceptually, no, but because I never read it, I don't know how it's written out, so for all I know, maybe it's well written. If it's well written, we'll see. But like, I can't read this shit until I get the promise, which I know I can read online, but they're harder to find now, and then when I do go to those websites, I could feel my laptop develop a virus. so I don't want to keep futzing with it. So that's why I want like the actual comics in my hands, but they're only supposed to be like $35, and for whatever God, I don't know what reason Amazon's charging $60 for The Promise. Why? It's supposed to be $35. Why are you charging $60? I'm not paying $60 for a comics. It broke my heart having to pay $35 each for these. So, but we're done with the book section. Let's move on to the other stuff. I'm out of breath. Like, my caffeine high is coming on, and I should not be having a caffeine high at 10:30. It's 10:30. 10:30. So the next part of the video, I'm going to talk about the 2 Funko Pops I got because my seasonal job was at Spirit Halloween. Spirit Halloween has exclusive, I'm like trying not to like spoil this here. Spirit Halloween has exclusive Funko Pops. I am a Funko Pop collector, so I grabbed them when they could because I also got a discount, so it made them even cheaper. The first one we're going to talk about is Sam from Trick or Treat. I have actually never seen this movie, but I recognize his character everywhere, and I always thought he was the cutest thing. So I bought it and intended to watch the movie this year, and then I just never did. I could always still do it because I am that person who will watch horror movies in December. And then the other ones I got were the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, and I grabbed the last one. I am the reason my location sold out, so you guys are welcome. Last but not least are the vinyls. I have 4 to talk about. I am a vinyl collector. It is a good time in this house. So I'm just going to go through these quickly. So the first one is ABBA's Gold album. It's the Greatest Hits album. I saw it at Target, snatched it up right away because I love ABBA. Like, every song I love by them is on that album, so why not? Then I also snatched up Abbey Road by the Beatles. And then this one I bought literally the other day, but it's the Christmas song by Nat King Cole because I want more Christmassy vinyls because, you know, the vibe. And it's green. But, like, if you don't listen to the Christmas song by this guy, has the Christmas season really begun? I listened to it playing Animal Crossing the other day, and it was a great time. And then the last one I'm going to hold up is the Penny Dreadful soundtrack. I've already talked about how much I love this show on this channel, so I'm not going to get into detail. If you haven't seen it, you should. Like, the music of that show is superior, so I had to get it. When I found out it was on vinyl, I snatched it up, and it's red. So that is it for this video. I hope this video is not as long as I feel like it is, because I tend to talk a lot. Let me know what books you guys have acquired lately, what vinyls if you collect it, or what music you like to listen to, I guess is a better question to ask, just in case you aren't a vinyl collector. If you've read any of these books, let me know. I'm out of breath. This caffeine high is not good because I need to be up in 8 hours. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, you know the drill, the jargon, yada yada yada. And before I start rambling, I'm going to peace out and I will see you guys later. Ciao a tutti.